actually last topic is that
Political
political parties in Europe by pan-continental organization. Because why I choose this topic because 23rd of May they have some European Parliament elections.
Yeah. Oh, EU elections, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And how many seats in European Parliament? As far as I know, it's 751.
I used to remember it. Shit.
Before that, I looked it up, so the parliament starting this year is going to be reduced from 751 to 705 seats
Because of Brexit.
because of Brexit.
What we need to do in this time, that we need to forecast which party will be occupied, how many seats, and something like this. It's kind of just forecasted, but I want to tell you just briefly information in overall situation in Europe. That nowadays, nationalism or populism, like justice of law in Poland, or Fidesz in Hungary, or Austria, because of some nationalism, populism, they are going to the right side, far right side, instead of a central or center
left, center right. And
yes. Now they going to the right side because the main reason is that because of immigration policy. And I think almost 40 or 50% of some ruling party is belong to the right side. But still they have a 50% in the center left or left side is still remaining here. So anyway, trend is that they are going to far right side because of some immigration issue or hand Euroscepticism. You know what I mean? Skepticism meaning that they don't want too much integrity in the EU group. So what will be happening in the future in the EU?
No, but would you actually bring this topic up if they're like actually moving to the left? It's like, oh, they're moving to the left. So what's going to happen in the future? I don't really see people concerned if they're moving to the left, but if they're moving to the right, everyone's like so like panicking out and like freaked out.
The one reason that people may be concerned about this increase of right-wing parties is because nationalism has always been a volatile element throughout history. But the problem is that, for example, these immigrant problems, they don't seem like they're going to be solved in the next 5 years. For example, I'm just saying 5 years. But they're probably afraid that nationalism is going to nationalism is going to become so strong in like the leading ideologies of the countries that is going to incite racism and genocide again. That's what I'm thinking. That is going to create more friction between the people who are trying to live together here in Europe.
Actually, we had a history in the Second World War that because of extreme nationalism, it makes us war and then make a genocide of all the people in the continent.
I prefer to be safe. I want my people to be safe. I want my family to be safe. I don't want to risk it for those 7 people. Why did your country end up in that kind of a mess to begin with? Why did you elect your leaders who are like Muslim fundamentalists? Or why is your country fighting like you because you're a Sunni country and your neighboring country is a Shia country? Why are you both fighting?
So your point is that we need to understand why they have to choose the right side, far right side.
I think it makes sense why they're actually worried. Once the right-wing party comes into power, they implement some really good policies and everything's life's good, they're going to go back to the left wing again.
So
it's not going to be on complete right wing. If one political party just is coming into power just based on immigration, if they really solve the issue, then there's nothing more for the people to vote for that government. So you see, I don't believe they're going to solve the issue because they want to keep it running. That's the problem. That's the problem because the politicians are the problem. The problem is real, but there's no real politician who's going to solve this real problem.
I think this EPP, the EPP, European what is it? European People's Party will be much bigger after the election. This is your forecast, right?
Should be.
The reason why the EU was created in 1950 was to prevent Germany from ever rising again. So the entire purpose of the EU was to keep Germany down, the Russians out, and the Americans in. That's the purpose of the EU. And it was very successful for 50 years or so. I think in the long run would like to break up the EU because it blocks them from doing what they want. So there's a rule of law in the EU. If you're a member, you have to sign the treaty and accept all the provisions. There's over 100,000 pages of legislation that you have to accept and incorporate into your government. And now, did Hungary approve these laws? Did Poland approve these? Yes, the prime ministers sit on the European Council. Hungary, the government of Hungary is declaring that the EU, the Commission is intending to destroy the Christian nature of Hungary, which is absurd. It is so ludicrous that they actually had to make a press conference at the Commission just a few months ago saying this is a flat lie. So why are people like Orban so opposed to the EU? Because it prevents them from taking actions that they want to keep for themselves. I mean, politicians like power. And when you're a member of the EU, you have to share power with the other 27 members, or maybe 26 if the UK eventually steps out, which it probably will. The EU has kept the peace for 50 years, for 60 years. Germany has been down. They have been modest. The Germans fund almost everything in the EU. The other countries are not paying very much. It's German money that's funding it. And what Orban risks by attacking the EU is, first of all, he's been suspended from the European People's Party. They suspended him.
Yes.
And there are many people inside, that's a center-right party, who want to remove the Hungarian Fidesz from the party and let them go and play with the far right. I think that the Central and Eastern European countries that are yelling against Brussels, I think they want to leave the EU, and they will be given that gift at some point in the next 10 years. It's going to happen. And the Hungarians, like Danny, are going to lose because the money that comes in from the EU, which is called structural funds, it's about 20 billion euros for every 7 years, takes up approximately 3 to 4% of the entire Hungarian budget. That's just one example. Then where is this money going to come from? China? I don't think so. Russia? No, I don't think so. So basically they are committing suicide financially, in my opinion, by taking this position. Now, for the selfish reasons of politicians, it's good to be against the EU because you can define an enemy. You can call it the Commission. You could call it George Soros. That's where the hated evil people are who want to take away our country.
The arch nemesis of Hungary.
And this is absolute propaganda that has simply no basis in reality. I see in the long run, this country is going to keep losing population. Right now, it's some people say 600,000 or even up to 1 million people.
Remember, I said that last time.
Have left the country.
Year, we have lost 600,000.
Approximately 600,000, but other people say the statistics aren't even good at that. It could be up to 1 million. That people like your age, who do not see a future because they can see what the government is doing.
Oh, I think you gave me very skeptical opinion about the EU
Yes,
integration.
you may call it that.
Actually, from South Korea point of view, EU is the best example for Korea because how EU started because of economic part they are integrating in economic part in terms of coal mining, core unification, something like that. They are starting from economic part. After that, they are gradually integrating politics, maybe transportation or visa or immigration. They are gradually integrating with one. It looks like one country. Now there is no border each other. In Korea case also is best example from our side because we need to cooperate with the North Korea in order to get as a one country in the long-term period. This is what we are aiming to be a one country, but we are not able to be just a one time like this one country because there are some steps to do this integration, this one, and then after that finally we are unified. This kind of step we need to do it. So EU is the best example. So EU have to still keep running with a very optimistic way for other continents, example like Asia, America, or Middle East. EU have to show us about good example for all humankind. Yeah. So I cheer for EU.
I hope we can do that, right? Yeah, I hope we can pull through too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And
Let's wrap
now,
it up.
yeah, we should go on now.
All right. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, our Korean friends.